G'day, welcome back. Episode, I don't know what we're up to, 4 maybe? And for today's episode, we're just going to be looking at the hardware. So the wing that's associated with Clarity and how to get a little bit of detail that you might not be aware of in there. I only need one screen on here, so we're not going to be looking at our rig at all. First of all, I want to show you how to get your virtual wing up. It can be a little bit confronting if you accidentally close it and then you've got no idea how to bring it back. So here I'm on my control booth tab, and I'm going to go over to hardware, and I'm going to select Clarity VX10, which is the piece of hardware that we have associated at Life Church North. So I'm going to click that, and you can see that it brings it up here. You can resize this however you like. Let's just make it nice and big for today so we can see what we're working with. All right, so this is your wing, this is your fader. A few different things in here that I'll go into. I guess firstly, putting information within each of your faders in here. So we've got in here our front wash, we've got speaking, so like our host, our preach, what we have for the walk-in, and then I typically put all of my songs across here as well. And then obviously we have our FX rate as well. Let's start off with the FX rate. I'm going to clear that and show you how to incorporate it within the virtual fader. So if you right click in that tab, this brings up the options that you can go through. So you've got clear, set, edit, group masters, global thrusters, and lock this playback. Let's go global thruster. And then in here we've got playback, chase rate, chase, crossfade, FX rate, and FX amplitude. What we want is FX rate. So if you click that, that will allow you to control the speed of the different effects that are happening within the cue. The middle here is 1 times, so normal speed goes all the way up to 10 times, I think. Yeah, 10 times, and then 0 at the bottom. So it is fairly sensitive. You don't need to go up too far. I typically keep things between like 1 and 2 times. Or sorry, I should probably say like half speed and 2 times speed is typically where I like to play. With your other global thrusters in here, you can, if you wanted to, choose some others. So potentially you might want FX amplitude. In order to add them into your virtual fader, let's just go back to our control booth over here. There's a little rocket ship up the top. If you hit that rocket ship, these are all of your thrusters. So you've got chase rate, chase FX, FX rate, and FX amplitude. Most of these are on scroll wheels. So what you need to do is change that back to, you need to change that from a scroll wheel like this to a fader like this. And the way to do that is just hit in your settings, and you've got slider mode or wheel mode. So if you are wanting to put it into your wing, into your fader wing, it just needs to be in slider mode. And then actually, this is interesting, I didn't know this, you can change your max thruster. So potentially you want to cap it at maybe 5 would be a good one to cap it at. I don't think you ever need to go above 5, so it gives you a little bit more room, wiggle room to play around with in there. All right, let's bring that back up. All right, when you first load up the virtual fader on here, it brings all of your faders up to 100. Let's bring them down to 0 so that we can have a look at some things. All of our songs are queued so that as you lift up the fader, the first cue will select. and as you bring it down to 0, it's going to release whatever cue it is on. Another way to start the first cue is to hit this button down the bottom here, which will start the first cue. Now it's really important that as you're transitioning between songs to hit this button, because what happens is as soon as you lift up this fader, it's going to release automatically whatever else was on. So if we've got this selected and then we come across here and we bring this up, it's going to automatically override whatever we've got going on here. You see that that's flashing because it's been overridden, and now this is the main cue that's going on. So it's going to snap and it's going to look not fantastic because it'll automatically flick from whatever it was on to this. What you want to do is finish your song. So we're going to finish this one on end down here. And it's hard to show this on a virtual fader, but what you want to do is you want to click this, and that will load this at whatever speed you have selected within your cue. So it will, instead of just snapping, it will load it slowly, and then from there you can bring up your fader and then bring down your fader. And what I mean by whatever you've loaded into your cue, I'll just show you. So we're in Lord Send Revival here. I'll just bring this up in our control booth, and you can see that our fade is at 2 seconds. So when we hit that button, instead of it snapping for 0 seconds, it's going to be a 2 second fade between your down cue that you're in here into your next cue. So very important as you're transitioning songs to hit that button and then bring up your fader. What else do we want to do? We've got over here our Grandmaster. That is just that takes care of everything. So you want that at 100% all the time, unless that you're looking to potentially go into a video. So a good way to go into a video is just bring your Grandmaster down, and that just brings everything down. And if you've got your front wash activated as well, then you can just bring your Grandmaster down to maybe like 25% and your front wash down to 0. And that will keep just a little bit of light on the stage while removing all of the front wash. Good for a video setting. Obviously we've got our DBO button here, which is dead blackout. So if you wanted to completely clear the stage of light, hit your DBO, and that will just clear every light that is already queued in. You can go through and select particular lights in a queue list that are not affected by a DBO. If they're, like for example, if you don't want your front wash to be affected by the DBO, you can go in and program that if you so wish to. All right. Second one to look at here. So these buttons here are how we jump through our cue lists. So we have the play button up the top. So that means that this one will jump to your next cue, and this one here is your pause or reverse button. So this will go back a cue. So let's jump down. We're in our down moment here, but the team have decided to go back and do a chorus. So we're going to jump back up to our chorus cue up here. So you can go through your cue list that way. What you can also do as well is if you accidentally clicked one, but you didn't really want that cue, you can quickly hit this button down here and it will pause it. So you can see that that is halfway completed to being fully activated cue. And if you wanted to go back, you can just go back to that one before. Over here, these buttons we don't really need to worry about. That's if you're doing your programming without the Clarity software. So you can actually program a song by using just the hardware alone. Complicated to do and not very efficient. So don't worry about any of the programming function that we have over here on the side of the wing. The other thing as well is we've got pages, so you can go up a page. We typically don't have enough programmed in for a Sunday that we need to go to a second page, but if you run out of spaces on here for a special event like Easter or Christmas, you can go up a page and you've got a whole new set of places that you can add in your different cues. All right, I think there was something else that I wanted to say as well. Trying to think what that would be. Yes. So the other point in here is your group masters. So you can set and edit group masters in here as well. So remember, over in our rig, we had all of our groups. You can put in specific groups into your hardware as well, and that allows you to control that group of lights independent of what is already programmed and what potentially would be in your cue list. So let's put in like our front LEDs in here, and you can see that we've got in here group master down the bottom. Now it automatically has a little L in there. That means that that playlist is locked. So it's got a little tick next to this lock this playlist. And what that simply means is as we move through our pages, that remains. So we've always got that group master remaining on that page. You can unlock the playlist to remove it from being in the pages. That's really effective if you've got like large groups that you potentially would like a little bit more control over, like particularly along the front potentially, or maybe along the floor as well. So if you program something in and you kind of wanted a little bit more control over that during the service, you can just select the group master that you want, your front LEDs, your floor LEDs, and then that will give you the control during the service to have a look at what that level is going to be looking like, irrespective of where you've already programmed it in. All right, I think that is it. Only other thing, and I think that we all know this anyway, but what you can do when you're adding in songs is just drag it from your control booth, plop it into whatever spot is available or whatever spot you want, and then that's the way that you get it from where you've programmed and from the control booth into your fader. Yeah, cool.